My child is not sleeping through the night. What to do? Welcome to my channel. I am Lois, and if you are trying to consciously parent and you are still pulling your hair out and wondering what to do with them in regards to sleep, then this video is for you. So, first of all, what I always go back to every single time is when we're born as a tiny little baby, we are completely pure soul. As human beings, we know that we incarnate into this body and we have a mind that filters through our experience. We are the soul inside. So when you're born as a tiny little baby, you're just that pure soul. The brain, the mind has no kind of programming yet. It's like a brand new computer. It's just clean. It's crystal clear, and that's why you get soul to soul recognition. That's why a baby, brand new baby, makes a room full of adults cry, because it's the internal knowing that this is pure light. It makes you remember who you are and what and how the universe works. So we all know that we incarnate as souls into a human body. So if you've had a baby, you have brought a soul through your body, made it into a human being, and then birthed it out in whatever way. So as babies, they've got no programming in their brain. It's pure soul. So in order to connect with them on a level that they can hear you, that they can understand, that you can feel like, yeah, we're in flow, I've got this, I can cope, you have to soul align too. So all of the programming that's been conditioned in your brain for however many years old you are, all of that, you just need to recognize that that's not you, that's the mind. You have a mind and you have a body, but you are the soul inside, you are the soul in here. And to access that point, it's really, really, really simple. It's just constantly, consciously come back into the present moment and recognizing whatever thoughts are going on, they're just going on and on and on and on. And the brain, that's just what the brain does. The mind just goes and talks and talks and talks and has thoughts and has thoughts and has thoughts, and that's okay. That's just what it does. That means that you're working properly, it's working properly, it just constantly goes. When you move into the soul space, you can recognize and see what's going on, but you know that's not you. You can just see it. You're the observer of that. You are not the thoughts. You are the consciousness, the observer of the thoughts. So, if your baby is not sleeping through the night, once you get into the soul space and soul align, you no longer have the expectation that they should be sleeping through the night. It's just not a thing. It's just not a thing. It's not something that's in your mind. It's not something you're thinking about. It's a conditioned belief that we've all been brought up to believe, that babies and young children, or any human being, anyone, doesn't matter how old you are, we've been brought up to believe that you should be sleeping through the night. So somewhere along the line, someone has made this up, and everyone's gone along with it and believed it. And it's just not true. So first of all, just that belief that babies should be sleeping through the night is just a belief. That's all it is. So you can choose to believe that, or you can choose not to believe that. It doesn't really matter. But it's all of the mind. It's all, I'm going to believe that, I'm not going to believe that. When you move into the soul space, you simply just know what to do if and when your baby wakes up. Second thing is, stop counting how many times they're waking up. Just stop doing that. You don't need to do that. If, say, your partner or an adult, or you even woke up in the night, would you start counting how many times a night you're waking up? No. If you woke up to go to the toilet, you wouldn't be like, oh, I woke up to go to the toilet last night, I didn't sleep through. It wouldn't even be a thing. It's just not a thing. So what we do as adults, and what we've been programmed to believe, is to have all of this expectation and all of this pressure on children. And when they come from the space of pure soul and they've not been programmed in that way yet, they're not going to feed into that narrative that is simply of the mind, of that belief system because it's not true. So they're constantly mirroring to you every single day exactly what the soul space looks like. And that's why we get so triggered. That's why we feel like it's so hard and that parenting's so hard. And when we simply come back into that space of knowing and the soul space and the peace and the internal space, not external, we remember that actually to communicate and to connect with our children, we have to meet them on that same level. We cannot be coming from the mind because you're just going to cross like this. You're going to constantly be missing each other. It's not going to work out. But when you get into the space of soul alignment, you're not waiting for something to work out. You're not expecting an outcome. There's no expectation of them sleeping through the night. There's no expectation of them not sleeping through the night. So it's not either or. It's just not a thing. It's just like if they wake up, they wake up and then that's it. You deal with it all the time. That's it. There's no... The thing that makes you exhausted is when we have the thought process of they should be sleeping through the night. I've had no sleep. I've woke up this many times. They've woke up that many times. What does this mean? This must mean I'm a bad parent. This must mean that they're being naughty. This must mean they're being manipulative. This must mean blah, 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 blah. A baby, a young child, has not had the brain programming to be able to physically manipulate. Their brain is not developed enough in that way yet to manipulate. That's a complete, again, a belief that they manipulate. Somewhere along the line, someone has made this up and everyone's gone along with it and just gone into that narrative of that's how you parent, that's what babies do, and that's how we should respond to it, blah, 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 blah. If a child before the age of 11 manipulates, it's a learned behaviour from the parents or the adults surrounding them. It's not something that they can do, especially babies, and this will only probably become apparent when they're maybe, I don't know, 3, 4 plus, if it's a learned behaviour. And as a learned behaviour, what I mean is, so if you're saying to them, if you do this and you be good, then you can get this, that's manipulation. So you are teaching them manipulation. So it's a learned behaviour. Your brain's not physically developed enough in the way to manipulate yet until about the age of 11, and unless it's a learned behaviour. And babies especially, they can't manipulate. It's just not a thing. It's not real. It's just a myth. It's just a belief that someone's made up and everyone's gone along with it, that babies manipulate. It's not true. They can't do it. They're just pure soul. Their brain is not programmed yet into anything, so they can't manipulate. It's not a thing. Just drop it. Just drop that belief. So if babies can't manipulate, they've got no programming. It's like, okay, so why are they crying in the night? They are communicating with you a need. They are saying from their soul space, and they still, obviously, if they're tiny babies, they think that you're one being, and they come from the singularity anyway, because they are the oneness. And when you enter that space of knowing that we're all one, and that the oneness in the trees and the grass and the animals all around the world and everyone and every single human is of the same source, the same wholeness, the same vibration running through it, the same undercurrent of love. When you come into that space, that's when you meet your child where they are seeing the world through. And then you get it. You just get it. It's not a conceptual thing that you can work out. It's not figuring out. It's a thing that can only be experienced. So even trying to explain all of this, it's quite difficult because words just are in duality, not singularity. It's hard to sometimes explain this because you have to experience it. So it's kind of like if you've got a fruit like a strawberry, and you can know what it looks like, you can know the colour of it, you can know everything about it, but you don't know what it tastes like until you taste it. It's kind of like that. So if they're coming from the soul space, you have to meet them there. You just have to. You cannot drag them into the mind space, and that this is what is going on. This has been going on for hundreds of years now with kids. This is what we're doing. We are believing that we are the mind and not the soul. We're dragging them from their soul into thinking that they are also the mind, and then we have mental health problems galore. We have parents that feel like they can't cope, and blah 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 blah. So if they're not sleeping through the night, you need to just simply come into the soul space and align with your soul, and remember that you are the soul, not the mind. So whatever's going on up here and telling you that if they've woken in the night it's a bad thing, then you just notice it. You just notice that going on, and then you carry on and being in that little space, in that bubble with your baby when they're awake and in whatever they need. So they're communicating to you from their soul and whatever they need. And when you are soul aligned, you just know what it is that you need to do next. You just know. It's not a, if they wake up, you do this, and this, because it's a single moment with you and your baby, and that moment is just like, you just know what to do in that moment. It's not a prescription. And this is like, get out of that. Just get out of that narrative that like, if a baby wakes up, this is what you do. And go in here, in this internal space. So the quickest way to move into this space is to just take a deep breath in. Sigh it out. And then just on the out breath, just